How many days is your Duolingo streak? 100 days? 500 days? Maybe even 1000 days? Now, here is the real question. Can you have a 5-minute conversation in French? If your answer is I have an 800-day streak but I still can't order coffee in Paris, you are not alone. You have simply outgrown your training wheels. And today I'm going to show you exactly why Duolingo is fantastic for getting started. And before you ask, no, they're not sponsoring this video. But it does have natural limitations for reaching fluency. But first, let me prove my point with a simple test. Here is a conversation that might happen if you went to France today. Excusez-moi, vous savez où il y a une boulangerie dans le coin? Excusez-moi, vous savez où il y a une boulangerie dans le coin? Did you understand that? It's a simple everyday question. Now here is what Duolingo taught you to say. L'homme mange une pomme rouge dans la cuisine. Do you see the gap? After hundreds of days practicing sentences about men eating apples, you can understand someone asking for directions to the bakery. Duolingo has done something wonderful. It got you started and built a habit. But streaks are not conversations. Points are not fluency. You have mastered the training wheels. Now it's time to learn to ride the bike. Let me explain exactly why Duolingo is so effective at getting people started and why I'm always happy to recommend it to students and why those same features eventually limit your progress. Every day you complete a lesson, you get a dopamine hit. Miss a day, you lose everything. This is brilliant psychology for building a habit. The problem? Language learning eventually requires discomfort, not just consistency. You earn experience points for every exercise. Your brain feels productive and accomplished, and this works perfectly for beginners. But experience points measure time spent, not communication ability developed. You compete all the time with other users in weekly leagues. This gamification keeps people coming back, but you're competing to spend more time on the app, not to speak better French. Badges, crowns, gems, and beautiful outfits for your owl. These make learning feel fun and rewarding. It's perfect for motivation, but they reward completion, not comprehension. Duolingo hired fantastic behavioral psychologists to make language learning as engaging as possible. And it works. That's really good for beginners. The issue is that intermediate learners need different challenges that Duolingo cannot provide. Duolingo does an excellent job teaching you basic French structure and fundamental vocabulary, but there is a natural gap between app-friendly content and real-world French. Here are some Duolingo-like sentences, and they serve their purpose. They're good. Le cheval mange les pommes oranges. Mon ours boit de la bière. La femme écrit une lettre à son chat. These sentences teach grammar patterns and vocabulary in memorable ways. That's actually good design for beginners. But meanwhile, here are conversations French people have every single day. Tu fais quoi ce week-end? J'ai dû taffer toute la soirée, j'en ai marre. J'ai maté Astérix à la télé. Bah, ça me fait toujours marrer. The gap isn't Duolingo's fault. It's a natural limitation of any app-based system. Apps are really good at structured learning, but they struggle with real-world complexity. Here is where Duolingo hits its natural ceiling: listening comprehension. Duolingo's French audio is spoken by computer voices at controlled speeds with perfect pronunciation. This is actually perfect for beginners. It lets you hear each word clearly and builds confidence. But real French people speak quickly with contractions, regional accents, and background noise. Here's an example to show you the difference. Bonjour madame, comment allez-vous aujourd'hui? Salut, ça roule? You've been training your ear for beginner-friendly French. That was the right first step, but now you need to train your ear for real French. After 1000 days of Duolingo, you go to France and struggle because no one speaks at Duolingo speed with Duolingo clarity. This is not a flaw in Duolingo, it's a natural progression issue. You've outgrown the training environment. Duolingo speaking exercises serve their purpose for beginners. You read predetermined sentences and the app confirms your pronunciation is acceptable. This builds confidence in the learner and gets you comfortable making French sounds. But real speaking involves completely different skills. Thinking of what you want to say in real time, finding words when you don't know the exact vocabulary, adapting when someone asks you an unexpected question, managing the natural flow of conversation, handling interruptions, clarifications, and topic changes as well. Duolingo teaches sentence recitation, which is a valuable first step, but conversation requires spontaneous communication skills that no app can fully provide. It's like learning to drive. Duolingo taught you the controls and basic maneuvers in a safe parking lot. Now you need highway practice. Duolingo is really good at teaching formal French grammar. This gives you an excellent foundation. Seriously, this matters, it's really good. Duolingo teaches you que faites-vous ce soir? But French people say vous faites quoi ce soir? Or tu fais quoi ce soir? Duolingo teaches je ne sais pas, but French people tend to say je sais pas or je sais pas. Duolingo teaches il n'y a pas de problème. French people say, y a pas de problème. The formal patterns that Duolingo taught you are correct and important. You need to understand them to understand French grammatical structure. But French people use shortcuts and informal patterns in everyday conversation. Duolingo couldn't teach you these because they're harder to systematize and gamify. You learn the full sentences. Now you need to learn how French people actually adapt them in real life. Duolingo teaches you essential French vocabulary and does a good job with core words that every beginner needs. Duolingo teaches you éléphant, really good for learning sounds. Bibliothèque, useful form of vocabulary, you can use this. Parapluie, it's a practical word. Papillon, very useful for pronunciation. But French people use different words in casual conversations. Le machin for thingy, the thing, it's an everyday word. C'est un mec canon. He's a really handsome guy. That's a sentence with informal vocabulary. J'ai pas tout pigé, mais je kiffe. I didn't understand everything, but I love it. Here you have informal verbs. Je m'en fous. For I don't care, that's a common expression. Je m'en fous.
Je m'en fous. Je m'en fous. De tout.
Both vocabulary sets matter. Duolingo gave you the foundation. Now you need to add the conversation layer. After mastering Duolingo's vocabulary, you know formal words but need to learn how French people actually talk day to day. Let me show you what happens when someone graduates from Duolingo and tries real French conversation at a social event. A French person would say, Salut, ça va? T'es une copine de Christina, c'est ça? The Duolingo graduate would answer, Bonjour madame, je vais bien, merci. Oui, je connais Christina, je suis américaine. The French person would answer, Ah, c'est chouette, et t'es ici pour visiter ou genre pour le boulot? Here the Duolingo graduate would answer, Désolé, je n'ai pas compris. Sorry, could you repeat that, please? The Duolingo graduate is using perfectly correct French learned from the app, but is a bit too formal. The French person is speaking normally, but it's already too fast and informal for our fictional student here. This is not a failure, it's a natural progression point. Duolingo taught them correct French, and now they need to learn appropriate French for different contexts. It can feel a little bit scary to leave the cozy, gamified world of an app and step into the messy reality of spoken French. You might be asking, so now what? Well, I don't want you to feel lost, and that's why I created a free personalized weekly practice plan. Think of it as your personal GPS for graduating from Duolingo. It's a clear roadmap that helps you identify your exact starting point and then guides you to create a simple week-by-week pathway to follow. It shows you exactly what to concentrate on to start having real conversations, understanding real videos, and feeling that amazing spark of progress that you've been missing. Just click the first link in the description to download it for free. And now that you have a plan, let's talk about the mindset you need to succeed. Here is the thing about Duolingo streaks. They're genuinely helpful for building the habit of daily French exposure. That's valuable. I love it. This commitment got you through the beginner phase. Seriously, that matters. Most people quit in the first month, but at intermediate level, you need different motivation. Struggling with real comprehension challenges, making mistakes in actual conversation, feeling confused and pushing through anyway, measuring progress by communication improvements, not points. Duolingo's motivation system works perfectly for beginners, but continuing learners need intrinsic motivation from real communication success. It's not that streaks are bad. They got you this far, and that's great, congratulations. It's that you're ready for more sophisticated goals. Here is why Duolingo can't take you to fluency. Their business model requires keeping you engaged long term, not graduating you quickly. If Duolingo made everyone fluent in 6 months, users would complete the course and leave. No more ad revenue, no more subscriptions. But if Duolingo keeps you progressing slowly while feeling productive, you stay engaged for years. More time on app equals more revenue for them. This isn't evil, it's just the business reality, and that's fine as long as you agree with that. Duolingo needs sustainable revenue to keep providing free language learning to millions of people, and well done them. But it means their incentive align with gradual progress, not rapid fluency. Understanding this helps you use Duolingo appropriately. It's fantastic for building foundation, but you need additional tools for reaching fluency. I know what you're thinking, but I've invested so much time in Duolingo, should I quit? No, you should graduate. Your Duolingo foundation is valuable. You learned basic French grammar patterns, essential vocabulary, pronunciation basics, daily learning habits, confidence in French sounds. That's great. But now it's time to build on that foundation with real conversation practice, natural speech comprehension, cultural communication patterns, spontaneous expression skills in French. Think of it as moving from elementary school to middle school. You don't throw away what you learned in elementary, you build on it. So, what should you do after mastering Duolingo basics? Here is how to graduate to real French. Step 1 is to upgrade your listening practice. Replace Duolingo audio with real French content. You can listen to French YouTubers talking about topics that you enjoy, like Fuloscopy that I love about surprising crowd behaviors, or Calmos about French cinemas. You can listen to French podcasts for intermediate learners like Coffee Break French. If you're bold, you can listen to real French radio shows like the Human Interest Reportage of Les Pieds sur Terre that I love as well, or even the fun snob reviews of Le Masque et la Plume on books and movies that you're absolutely okay to disagree with, or even the game show Le Jeu des 1000 euros, a fantastic show that travels across the country week after week and that is a monument of French radio. You can try French Netflix shows with French subtitles like Lupin, 10%, or the time travel teen mystery rural France of Les 7 vies de Léa. You can maybe follow French Instagram accounts that you like with videos that you will find interesting, like the gardening comedy of Ophélie ta mère nature, or the recipes of Bonne Pitance, or the creative Mademoiselle Sophie. Your goal is to train your ear for real French speed and pronunciation. Step 2 is to add conversation practice. Find a French conversation partner. You can find them on HelloTalk or Tandem apps, or you can use the Conversation Exchange website. You also have local French meetups or conversation groups, online French conversation classes as well. They work really well. Start with 15-minute conversations once a week. You will make mistakes. This is good because this is where real learning happens. Step 3 would be learn contextual vocabulary. Instead of memorizing word lists, learn vocabulary from real context. Write down words that you hear repeatedly in French videos. Look up their meaning and usage pattern. Notice how French people actually use them around you. Practice using them in your own sentences. Here, it's all about quality over quantity, context over isolation. Step 4 is to study real grammar patterns. Notice how French people actually use the grammar Duolingo taught you. How do they ask questions in conversations? When do they use contractions? How do they express emotions and opinions? What shortcuts do they use? Build on your Duolingo foundation with real word application. Transform your daily French habit from app-based to communication-based. Instead of 20 minutes of Duolingo exercises, upgrade to 20 minutes of French YouTube videos. Instead of maintaining a streak, upgrade to having one real conversation per week. Instead of collecting experience points, upgrade to understanding one new French videos without subtitles. Instead of competing in leagues, upgrade to tracking your real comprehension progress. You're not abandoning structure, you're evolving from beginner structure to intermediate practice. Here is what Duolingo doesn't emphasize because it's not their job. Becoming fluent requires moving beyond comfort. Real language learning involves confusion and frustration with real content, making embarrassing mistakes in conversation and even celebrating them after, struggling to understand movies and videos, feeling like progress is slow and invisible, pushing through difficult comprehension challenges. Duolingo eliminates this discomfort, which is perfect for beginners. Comfort builds confidence and habits. But intermediate learners like you need controlled discomfort. That's where real learning happens. If your French practice still feels easy and rewarding every day, you're ready for the next level of challenge. So you have two options. Option 1 would be to continue with only Duolingo, maintain your streak and feel productive while making slow progress. You can reach 2,000 days with great basic knowledge, but limited conversation ability. Option 2 would be to graduate from Duolingo while keeping what it taught you and celebrating that. Add real French practice and conversation. Feel challenged and sometimes frustrated, but develop actual communication skills. Both choices are valid. If you're enjoying Duolingo and you're not ready for the next level, that's perfectly fine. Language learning should be sustainable for your life. But if you're ready to go beyond app-based learning, it's time to add real French practice to your foundation. Now, don't forget about your personalized weekly plan. It's time to have some fun. In this video right here, we will play with some of the most difficult French words to pronounce. À très vite. See you there.